task force here today. And this is one of the main reasons for this press conference, is to update everyone on the steps we're taking to combat insurance fraud. And unfortunately, it's like clockwork. Every time there's a natural disaster in this state, scam artists from all over the state show up to try to take advantage of victims. And we're simply not going to let that happen.
In San Diego, we've arrested 4 people looting. We will deal with them harshly.
We've had federal resources, but the reason that we've been successful, particularly here in Orange County and throughout Southern California, is the response we had from the local responders, the local fire, the local police. If we had not had the training, the expertise, and the men and women out there to do this from day one, we would not be where we were now. This has been a much worse situation. When they first were contacted in this fires, there were winds blowing, all the conditions were against them, but yet they stood the ground. They protected the majority of houses. Many other areas have lost many, many houses. Orange County has been very, very fortunate. Our main housing tracts are protected because of the men and women here behind you and all over here. If you look at some of the tents out there.
What would you do for the next disaster to improve things, particularly as it pertains to the quicker allocation of resources?
Well, first of all, let me just say that this fire is still far from over. I mean, your fire right here is only 30% contained. So I think that after this is done, after we have no more fires and we are on a way to rebuild, I think it's very important then to make an evaluation, as we always do.
So let me be crystal clear. If people try to commit insurance fraud, we will fine them, prosecute them, and put them in jail. If anyone has any suspicion about potential fraud, call us at the Department of Insurance, 1-800-927-HELP. And we were going to investigate each and every tip that...
Well, the San Diego fire, the most active fire portion is running basically in the upper grid from Williams Canyon all the way down to Trabuco Canyon. It remains a threat to all the canyon communities, and also headed towards the direction of Indian Park, Rancho Santa Margarita, those areas. Okay. Some areas of concern, obviously Riverside's a little wound up because of the fire is headed up over towards their direction. We're making all...
First of all, you have to recognize there are some incredible successes that have taken place thus far. The unified command between the United States Forest Service, CAL FIRE, the Orange County Fire Authority as the lead agency, and the Orange County Sheriff's Department, I think has been nothing but impressive.
And is really a good vehicle, a motivator for everyone to come together. I remember after Katrina, as sad as it is, but it takes sometimes a disaster like this to really wake everyone up and to perfect things. We have for years in California tried to rebuild our levees. We have very vulnerable levees. No one paid any attention for years. And I remember when I came into office, I said, we got to rebuild the levees, we got to redo our water system, and no one paid attention. When Katrina happened, immediately the legislators sat down, they passed out $4.1 billion with an additional $500 million, infrastructure bonds, and the people voted on it, and right now we are rebuilding our levees and we're going to perfect our levees. So that's what happens. So this is what we have to do also with this year.
In the media, is the weather helping today? Can anyone speak about that? The rain showers, things turn to corner?
Well, I think common sense tells me that this is much better than when there's wind. And I hope that, Chief Prater can answer those fire questions much better of what that means. And, I'm making sure right now that Los Angeles doesn't get all the rain today and no rain is allocated to Orange County. So,